Dandavad Swamiji. Swamiji, namaskar.
Oh, Dandavad.
Pranam.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare Krishna.
Oh, haven't seen you in a long time, Devo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Maharaj. Dandavad, Maharaj. Dandavad for all devotees. I'm very glad that I made it today at least. After a long time.
Oh, have you been okay? Have you been okay?
Maharaj?
Has your health been good? Your health has been good?
I'm not able to hear you.
Maharaj is asking if your health has been okay.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. Only thing is my classes are keeping me very busy.
Okay.
They're given a new topic, artificial intelligence. I have to study and teach.
Okay. Good. Well, nice. So nice to have you again. Have your company.
Thank you, Maharaj. In fact, I keep always watching your videos and wanting to talk to you. And today I made it a point to ask you, join and ask you a few questions, if you can spare your time.
Okay, we could try to give you some Harinam.
Maharaj, today is disappearance day of Prabhupada.
Yes.
So I've gone to ISKCON now, and I know that you're his disciple, and I want to hear like your first experience of meeting Prabhupada from your this one.
Hi, Dr. Sahu, Haribol. Namaste. Namaste.
Dandavad. Namaste. Namaste to everyone.
Namaste. And Harinandaji, how is everyone there?
Everyone here in Delhi.
Hariananda Prabhu in Spain.
Yes, Maharaj. Dandavad Pranam, Maharaj and devotee. I am fine, all family fine. Very happy for see to you and devotees. Today, the special day, the meeting Vaishnava. And you, Maharaj, you are fine?
I'm okay. We are okay.
Oh, good. Haribol.
Krishna Kesha was good.
Krishna Kesha, very good service. Card to you is good, very good person, very good devoto. I am happy with Keshava Prabhu for all service for you and all devoted in the Zoom meeting, in Facebook, and lectures, Srimad Bhagavatam. Keshava Prabhu is very special person. I love Keshava Prabhu. Dandava.
Hare Krishna.
Kanapriya is here.
I love you too, Hariananda Prabhu.
Thank you.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Dandavad Kanapriya Didi. Haribol.
Dandavad Pranam Maharaj. Dandavad devotees.
Dandava Didi. Dandava.
Let's see.
Today, Maharaj, today, today, yesterday, Srila Bhakti Nikama Shanta Maharaj, very busy in parikrama, in devotional activity, praising, in very nice, all day. Today I see to Maharaj and some moments in day for on Facebook. Very
Yeah.
nice.
He's on a
Yes.
very auspicious pilgrimage, Gormandal Parikram. Very auspicious. Something that Acharya Maharaj wanted to do, but never did, he told me. So it's nice that he's doing that, you know. Let's chant a special mantra today for Srila Prabhupada. All the devotees would honor him. Do you know this mantra? Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Desatarane. Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
Jai. No, should I put it on screen? Should I find?
No, it's okay. We'll do the Vandanam. Do the Vandanam today. And for our acharyas and all the acharyas. Put that on the screen. Oh, we have to chant Damodar too.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a lot of chanting to do today. 38.
Swamiji,
Yes.
can I ask something?
Yes, please.
Can you tell me something about about life, complexities of life, and something about the desire and human desire, and something about the hypocrisy of the life, something about the attitude, and something about the how to control in a difficult situation state of anger, or how to control your emotions.
Oh,
All these are my questions.
you
Uh,
know, simple questions, huh?
yes, very simple questions, but for you, but for me it's a very difficult. So,
I'm only teasing you.
Guru like you, I know that you have all answers, but for me it's very difficult.
Well, okay, we'll get into that. Well, first we'll chant, do some chanting, and then we'll get into the questions and answers, okay? You and Devahuti also had some questions. So we'll get into that afterwards. Let's first chant. Remembering Srila Prabhupada and remembering all the acharyas of our Guru Varga. We'll chant the Vandanam prayers. And then we'll chant Damodar Astakam and remembrance of Kartik. And then we'll have some questions and answers, okay? So Vandeham
Vandeham
Shri
Shri
Guru
Guru
Shri
Shri
Guru
Guru Vaishnavas
Om
Gurvaya Parampara Krite Shira Acharya Varyanijam
Gorva
Vista Supurakam
Guru
Yasita Sambushitam Chintya Chintya Samastarira Nipuna Sri Rupa Om Bara Kanu Bande Vidwa Guru Sanjaya Bhagavan Premo Hiriya
Devam Divyatanam
Chanda Parana
Balarta Sarala Shitam Sadrananda Puran Sadeko Paranam Vairagya Vijya Buddhi Sri Siddhantanidin Suvatila Siddham Sarasuvatatam Baram Bandekam Suvadram Madekam Paranam Yasri Varana Sri Dharam
Shri Siddhanta
Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Viniti Aura Jagoram Vaye Bhagavad Nuliva Pratagane Yogaura Sankirtane
Sankirtana
Maya Bhagati Ningyoram Gatangudriya Yuganimam Krishna Prema Sudaringanam Bhagam Prabha Prabhutam Namo Nagishwaraya Bhakti Sastrayana
Kripa Sindhu
Kalpataruja Kripa Sindhuya Patitanam Bhavaneyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namah Nami Bhatya Shakti
Namami Bhakta
Namo
Mahavanaya
Krishna Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Name Gaura Swine Namaha Jayanta Surata Pangor Mama Lamader Goti Mam Sarva Palamboyao Radamagan Iya Vindaya Kalpa Dumada Sri Ranagara Sita Sanapao Silandarba Sri Govinda Devao Presta Livi Seyanao
Sangarbha Srila Govinda Deva
Imam Dasarasam
Vasa
Siva Tatata Stita Karsam Demo Ina Sriyetu Rinda Jai Tulasi Jai Priya Jai Kisavaya Krishna Bhakti Devi Satyavata Namo
Krishna
Namaha
Bhakti Devi Atanatva Mantra
Jayam
Jai
Guru Gaurangam Dharva Govinda Padamana Jaya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Sripad Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Sripad, Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharia, Astotapa Spada, Srimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai,
Srila Guru Srila Maharaja ki jai.
Jai,
Maharaja ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Sri
Jai,
Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai
Jai,
Maharaj ki jai.
Jai.
Jai,
Samaveda Bhaktivedanta ki jai.
Jai,
Assembled devotees. All glories to the worldwide devotees.
Jai.
Jai Giri Govardhana ki jai.
Jai,
Jai Vrindavan Dham, Navadvip Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Gangamayi Purnamayi ki jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Jagannath Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Mando Parikaram ki jai.
Jai.
Jai,
No Premanandi ki jai.
Mahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, then we will sing Damodar Rastakam and in remembrance of Kartik Ratha this month.
All together?
Huh?
All together?
No, I'll sing and then you sing after. Namam Ishwaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Prajamanam.
Nama.
Yasodabiolukaladavamanam Paramristam Atyanta Todrutagopya.
Yashoda.
Sudanta Muhurnesra Yugmam Vijantam Karam Bojo Yugmena Santakanitram.
Rudan.
Usvasakam patire kankakanta Sita Garam Damodaram Bhakti Badam.
Muhu.
Iti Driksvalila Bir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nibajantam Akyapayantam.
Iti.
Adiyeshitagyeshu Bhaktarsitatvam Puna Prematastam Satavritti Rande.
Hari.
Varam Deva Moksham Anamokshavadim Nachanyam Vrinetam Varishadapiha.
Varam.
Eva Purnata Gopala Balam Sadame Manas Yavirasham Kimanyai.
Ida.
Idam te mukambojam atyanta nilayar Ritam kuntralai stigda rakshastakopya.
Idam Am
Mushkitam bimba shakraktakcharam me manasya virastam alam lakshalabai.
Muhus
Namo Deva Damo Tarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Bhagdam.
Namo
Sripad Vristi Vrishyati Dinam Bhatanu Grahanesham Mam Agyam Edyakshidrisha.
Kripa Dris
Uver Atmajo Bada Murtyai Vayadvat Tvaya Mochito Bhakti Bhajo Kitocha.
Kuver
Prema Bhakti Nusakam Prayacha Namokshe Grahome Stidamodariya.
Tata
Namaste Puradiptidamne Swadiyodorayata Vishwasya Damne.
Namaste
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nanta Dilaya Devaya Tubhyam.
Namo
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nanta Dilaya Devaya Tubhyam.
Namo
Namam Ishwaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalam Kure Prajamanam. Sorabiolukaladavamanam Paramrishyam Atyantato Drutagopya.
Yasho
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Jai
Hare
Sripad, Sri Kumar, Sri Gurudev, Sri Acharya Dev Ki Jai,
Jai.
Jai Ji
Jai.
Nana Ki
Srila
Jai,
Shanta Maharaj.
Jai.
Santa Maharaj Ki Jai,
Jai.
Jai Ga Premanandi Krishna.
Hare Bol.
Bless all the devotees.
Jai.
Okay,
Jai.
Jai.
now,
Devahuti's first question
yes.
is about Prabhupada.
We have to understand when we're dealing with the absolute truth. We can't leave anything out. Absolute truth is the sum total of all realities. When we think of God, who's that absolute truth? That is God. That the absolute truth is not only impersonal, but also personal. Both are there. It must be. Otherwise, the absolute is incomplete. And not only that, but more important, that there are two aspects of the absolute that must be there in order for it to be absolute. The predominated portion and the predominating portion. The predominating and the predominated. Bhaktivedanta Swami Thakur was very careful to point this out. That people forget. They think of the absolute only as the predominating, the God, the Lord. But they don't think of him as the predominated, the devotees who was lorded over. The Lord and his subjects must be there. Just like a king can't be a king if he has no subjects. He has no kingdom. Everything must be there. So the predominated portion is there. Predominated, that's us. The servants of the Lord. Those are subordinate to the Lord. That is also the absolute. We don't only think of the absolute as predominating God, but he's also the predominated devotees. The Lord and his devotees are necessary to be both part of the absolute. Just like in the Chinese, they have the yin and the yang. You ever see the Chinese symbol with the one part yin, one part yang? They understand the duality that's there. And yet there's still a unity. It's one circle. Advaitins forget that Dvaita is an essential part of the absolute in order for Advaita to be the absolute. The duality must be there, and it's negation, Advaita. It's not just a negation, not just the one. It's the negation of the two. It means the two must be there. Advaita must be there. And that Dvaita is the Lord and his devotees. And that distinction must be negated. That negation comes about through surrender, not through annihilation. If you annihilate the devotees, then there's no longer an absolute. You've got only one part of the absolute. So negation is not the annihilation. It's the surrender. It's the harmonizing. Submission to the predominator. Predominated must become submissive to the predominator. That's the meaning of predominator and predominated. It's not that the predominated goes off in its own way and forgets that it's predominated by anything other than itself. They become the predominators. No. So the living entity is of that nature. It's called a Jiva Shakti. He's of that nature of being in the predominated position, in the servitor position, the position of the servitor of the Lord. So desire is there. You cannot remove desire from the jiva has his desire. He must have in order to have a relationship, in order to have an understanding of a relationship with the predominated, with the Lord, with Krishna. You must have desire. There's never a point where the living entity cannot have desire. Otherwise, it's not living. A rock doesn't have desire or much desire. But a living entity is not like a rock. So there are rocks and there are living entities. Everything is there in the absolute. But the living entity cannot be misunderstood in the same way to be a rock. Desire must be there. But the problem is not desire. Problem is not desire. That's natural with a living entity. The problem is, what are we to desire? We're in the illusion that as predominated entities, we're in the illusion that we're the predominator. We are the enjoyer. All desires are meant for my fulfillment of my own personal whims, my own personal will. Here's the mistake. Mistake is there. We have to correct that. That's called exploitation. I'm here and I'm to exploit the rest of the creation for my own personal satisfaction. There's the mistake. There's where the error is occurring. That's where Maya comes in, the illusion. Our real position is to be desiring to serve Krishna, to enjoy with Krishna, and to give Krishna his due as a predominator. We are to fulfill Krishna's desires. Our desires are meant to be in relation with him, in a loving relationship with him. You can't love something that's just a robot. We're not robots. We're not things. We're persons. And we have a personal loving relationship with Krishna. That's called bhakti. The attempt to enjoy this world independently of Krishna is called bhukti. And the desire to escape this world because it becomes too confusing, too hard. We can't enjoy this world on our own. We become frustrated. And then we seek mukti, liberation. So we try to engage in exploitation of this world to fulfill our own desires. And then when we get tired of that, when we find it doesn't work, we seek mukti, liberation. Exploitation, liberation. They're both on the same plane. Exploitation and liberation. One is trying to attack the environment and grasp it for ourselves. The other is trying to leave the environment. So there's both, the environment around us is both involved in both exploitation and liberation. That's not a pure level of awareness. Those are impure levels of consciousness because it involves relationship with the world. Our relationship is not with the world, but with Krishna. Running away from the world or trying to grasp the world, they're the same thing. But trying to devote our lives to the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, that is devotion, that is dedication. The dedication, exploitation, renunciation. These three things, these are the attitudes we can take with our desire toward things. Now, if we try to use that desiring capacity within us for exploitation, and yet we say, no, I'm a good person. No, that's hypocrisy. I'm a good person, yes. I want to help others. I want to do good. But what are you trying to do in this world? It's still worldly directed. The intention is not pure. So we are looking for Shuddha Bhakti. pure bhakti, pure devotion. This is the ideal realization of our true identity and the true nature of things. And through that, and in that process, if we engage in those kind of activities, the absolute, we will be living the absolute. We'll be a living part of the absolute. The absolute means the harmony of the predominated and predominating. That harmony must be established. That is the real goal, fulfillment of our lives as human beings, as living beings.
Swamiji, yes, I got it what you are saying. My problem is that, there are two, I always keep myself two world theory. One is when I'm working with the spiritualism or spiritual world or the devotional world, absolutely there is no problem. My problem is that when you, as you said, that there is a world of suffering and where you are working and you cannot avoid the situation that I am mixing with the people. Though I do not want myself to create some kind of confusion, but people always want you to remain a state of unhappiness, and they create a situation where you cannot avoid or escape, but you are trapped into that situation. You got it what I'm saying? That desire is good because everybody has desire to, but desire for the matter and desire for the Krishna Prem is two different things. But when we are working a desire for the matter, which we cannot for the some time, we have to be there. And there sometimes the situation being created by the people intentionally or unintentionally, it's very difficult to work in that atmosphere. And there I need a guidance from you, whether I have to be always in a devotional and accept the people as they are, or I will avoid that situation and do not work with these people. I do not because there is a lot of emotional trauma is also involved. Like you do not want to do any negative things, but the situation they create, you are trapped into the negative things.
Okay,
Somewhere, so that is.
you are a teacher, no? You are
Yeah, I'm a teacher.
Okay.
I'm a teacher.
Now,
Maharaj,
you're in a,
Maharaj,
yes?
sorry, Maharaj, please translate for Spanish your word for my family in Spanish, please.
Please, you can translate Español.
Yeah, thank you, Maharaj. De Bhakti Didi hizo una pregunta al Maharaj y el Maharaj respondió que preguntaba por la confusión acerca de la verdad absoluta. El Maharaj respondió que la verdad absoluta es muy difícil de entender, pero tiene para nosotros puede ser más fácil si tenemos en cuenta dos aspectos importantes: el predominador y el dominado. El dominador y el dominado. El Señor Krishna siempre va a ser el predominador y todas las jivas, todas las almas somos dominadas. Si nosotros entendemos ese punto muy fino, muy importante, entonces toda la comprensión va de nosotros va a ser un poco más accesible. También el Maharaj habló que, por ejemplo, el pueblo chino usa un símbolo del yin y el yang. Yin yang, ustedes lo han visto, el círculo de la filosofía china taoísta, y allí el Maharaj dice que hasta ellos entienden que hay una dualidad, yin, yang, siempre hay dos, y eso choca o rompe con la filosofía de de un filósofo muy antiguo en India que se llamó Shankaracharya, y la filosofía Advaita. La filosofía Advaita decía que Dios, el Señor es uno solo, todo es uno, todo es uno, pero esa es una concepción falsa, porque los Maharaj, los devotos, los Vaishnavas dicen que no, todo uno solo no. Sí es uno solo, pero dividido en dos partes, predominador y predominado. Lo que pasa es que muchas personas tratan de seguir los caminos de, también Maharaj habló del Bhakti y Mukti. Bhakti y Mukti, por ejemplo, los seguidores de la filosofía de Alta quieren seguir los practicantes del jnana, del karma, el mukti, la liberación. En Vaishnava no quiere eso, no piensa en eso. Otras personas piensan en Bhakti. Bhakti, Maharaj habla, es complacencia sensorial de los sentidos, de los ojos, de la vista, de lo que hablo, de sentir. Eso es disfrute material. Entonces unas personas piensan en Bhakti, otras en Mukti, pero más arriba de Bhakti, Mukti, Bhakti es muy bueno, muy importante. Bhakti y Mukti no, sino el Bhakti. Entonces, más o menos el Maharaj dio ese resumen acerca de lo que es el acercamiento hacia la verdad absoluta. Y siempre recordar que nosotros somos predominados. Y el Señor Supremo, Señor Krishna, es el predominador. Siempre hay que tener presente eso. Él es el dueño de todo, el disfrutador supremo y asimismo la verdad absoluta. Y nosotros somos pequeñas partes del Señor, pero con cierta independencia, pero el Señor siempre va a ser preponderante sobre nosotros. Eso es lo que ha explicado el Maharaj. Jai Maharaj.
Harinanda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj ki. All devotees ki. Jai.
Jai.
So you are a teacher. Now, if you're in a classroom and you're trying to teach
Yes.
2 + 2 = 4, and the students say, I don't believe that. I think 2 + 3 = 4. And they go on like that. They're insisting that 2 + 3 = 4. And you're telling, no, 2 + 2 = 4. If you agree with them, then you're a hypocrite, right? Because you know that 2 + 2 = 4. If you say, okay, no, I can't convince you, I'll agree with you. That's not good. That's hypocrisy. That's what's going on today. People want to exploit this world. They think they're the enjoyer. They think they are the predominator. And they're causing ecological catastrophe because we are not the predominator of this. We are not the predominator of nature. Nature is controlling us. That nature doesn't belong to us. That nature was created by God for his purposes. We have to know that. We have to follow that. Otherwise, we become as bad as the exploiters. So people may be going in the direction they want, the wrong direction. But as a teacher, we have to tell the right thing. There will be conflict. There must be conflict. Otherwise, how are we teaching? What is the question? If they already know everything, then they don't need you. So they have to
Now,
accept.
if the teacher,
They have to
the
accept.
teacher, but if the teachers are confused, you are trapped within a community where the teachers, they themselves are confused, and the students, the
Yeah.
problem comes,
So you have to, first
you
of
can
all,
say, yes.
first of all, you have to have a standard. There must be a standard for teachers. We have a standard. It's called guru. I teach only what guru has taught me. That's a good student. A teacher must be a good student first before they become a good teacher. So the good student means they must have a good teacher. That good teacher is called guru, and we must follow that. Follow guru's teachings, and we teach that only. We don't teach other things. what Guru has taught us, what Krishna has taught us, these are the good teachings. And we stick to those teachings. We try to present that to the students, and we have to correct them. We cannot go according to their ideas. We have to give according to the right ideas, proper conception. That's our function as teacher. Otherwise, we're not doing our duty properly. And that is called devotion. That is called dedication. You do your duty properly. What is your duty? If you're a teacher, then you have to understand what is it that is correct teaching according to Guru and Krishna. And we teach that only. First, we understand and we follow that ourselves. Otherwise, we become hypocrite. That's all my understanding.
Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Okay.
I got a clear picture.
Okay.
I will follow it. I'll
Good.
follow this. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Deva, did he? You had some
Yes,
question?
Maharaj.
What question do you have now?
Anything you can remember about Prabhupada?
She wants to hear any memories you have of Prabhupada as his
Memories
disciple.
of Prabhupada.
There are some stories, Swamiji. Some stories
Yes.
relating to Lord Krishna or something. Any stories? Right.
Well, I had the great blessing to be able to talk to Srila Prabhupada personally a couple of times. And all the devotees, they had their own ideas of Krishna consciousness. Of course, it came from Prabhupada, but it was their ideas of what Prabhupada was teaching. And when I would speak with Prabhupada, I would find a different idea coming. So, for instance, when the first time I was speaking with Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada told me, you are a scientist. The devotees said, Prabhupada here is a scientist. He can become your disciple. So Prabhupada, the first thing he told me, he said, you are a scientist. Use your science. Use your scientific knowledge to prove that life, matter comes from life. That life comes from life, and that matter comes. Now, of course, it's completely the opposite of what the scientists are teaching. They say life comes from matter. He said, no, you show that matter comes from life using your science. Now, this was very surprising. First of all, what Prabhupada said was completely contradictory to what the scientists were saying. And the other thing was that the devotees never told me that I should be a scientist. They say you should give up all your science and just become a Hare Krishna chanting devotee. Don't use your science. You forget, that's all Maya. They just chant Hare Krishna, be happy. So I was surprised. Prabhupada didn't say anything like that. He said, use your science, use your education, and try to serve Krishna. So it was completely revolutionary, both things. First, he's teaching exactly what the scientists are not saying. That matter comes from life, not that life comes from matter. And he wanted me to use my science to say that. Science was saying exact opposite. Science says life comes from matter. But he said, no, use your science to say that matter comes from life. And the other thing was that he was saying, use your science, don't throw it away. Use your science and Krishna service. He used to teach that all of our material accomplishments are zero. All of our accomplishments in this world are zero. They don't mean anything. You may become wealthy, you may become educated, you may become powerful, you may become beautiful. It's all zero, it doesn't mean anything. But if you take those zeros and put a 1 before them, then they have some value. And that one is Krishna. So you take all these zeros and make them valuable by putting Krishna there first. And then you can have some service engagement in the service world. And Prabhupada was like that. He was always surprising us. We're thinking in one way and he's thinking an entirely different way. And this was the amazing thing about Srila Prabhupada. What we were thinking we thought was right, was perfectly okay. And then suddenly we'd hear from Prabhupada something completely different, and we'd realize, yes, that is the truth. What he's saying is the truth. And what I was thinking was completely false. That was Prabhupada's mercy. He was able to do that. Another time we were speaking and I told him that Einstein was saying, I can't remember what it was that I told him. Something about the relation between the mind and the world. Anyhow, I can't remember now. But that the mind was sort of like producing the world. Now the world is in the mind. And people are thinking that the mind is the source of the world. Unfortunately, I can't remember now. My memory is not working. But anyhow, it was I remember he said something like that, and I thought, it's possible that that's true. But then how to prove that's the opposite of what the scientists think. They think the mind is some kind of product of the world. The neuron processes are producing mind. My apologies, I can't remember right now exactly how that conversation. But I remember it was a very life-changing experience for me because I realized that it was just the opposite of what I was thinking. When I told Prabhupada that quote from Einstein, I realized that Prabhupada saw it in a completely different way than what Einstein even saw it. That the mind was the reality, not the world. Anyhow, now I'll have to wait until Krishna gives me back that memory. But generally, when we talk with Prabhupada, he was like in a different world, different consciousness. We'd be walking on the same path with him, and he was in his own world, his own consciousness. And we were following behind him and inquiring and trying to get some drops of nectar. Some realization of what he was seeing. But he was always transcendental. It's as if he was never really touching the ground. His feet were never touching the ground. He would always walk in a different world than we were walking, a different consciousness. And we were always trying to get some kind of peek into that world in which he was seeing and dealing with. And he was always very merciful to us, always trying to teach us, encourage us to come to that world, to come back home. He used to tell me one time I was sitting with him and thinking very deeply about something he said. And he looked at me and said, come back to home, back to God, like that. And that built a desire in my heart. Prabhupada, I wish that I could be with you, where you're at, talk with you at that level. And there was another thing that I remember, his relationship with Srila Damodar Maharaj. He had such a friendly, personal relationship with Srila Damodar. Of course, Srila Damodar was born in Manipur. He was a Vaishnava from birth. So he had an immediate connection with Prabhupada, and Prabhupada with him. And it used to be so beautiful to see that loving relation between Prabhupada and Srila Damodar Maharaj. And recognizing that we just did not have the birthright, the sun scars, to be able to be in that relationship, and how we had to work, improve our own life, improve our own consciousness, so that we could one day be able to speak with Prabhupada on that very intimate level. That is our job. Our job is to improve our consciousness, evolve or develop our consciousness to the high Vaishnava state, in which we can intimately deal with the Vaishnavas, are situated in the high platform. Of the residents of Vrindavan. That's our job. We have to make our lives, mold our lives in such a way that we will be able to converse with the devotees on that higher plane, that we'll be able to serve them. We do that by serving them. By serving them, we become closer and closer, being able to please them. And when they become pleased with us, then they can accept us into that world in which they are living. And that's what we want. That's how I see. And it's not something to change your heart, to change your consciousness, not something that we can do so easily, to get a grasp of your own self. We need someone with a higher consciousness to grasp ourself. That's why Guru is so necessary. It's a mystery, a mysterious process, actually, Bhakti Yoga, because it doesn't work from the mind. And not about knowledge. It's about the heart. And if we have the proper mood, we have the proper devotion, dedication, then that change will occur in us. It doesn't happen by us. It happens to us. But it happens to us at first, and then after that, it seems that we are doing that ourselves. But we never do it. It's by the grace of the higher that the lower can be raised up. Like I give the example of the ocean. You're drowning in the ocean. The only way you can get out of it is if somebody comes and pulls you out. Someone in a boat was already out. Otherwise, we have no chance. We're like that, and consciousness is like that too. By hearing from the advanced Vaishnavas, we can advance. and by serving them, by pleasing them. That's all. Bhakti yoga is the most difficult and the easiest at the same time. If you try to approach it intellectually, it's very, very difficult, very obtuse, very obscure. And you can't do it because you're approaching something that is beyond yourself. We have to recognize that there's something bigger than ourselves with which we are involved. That is devotion. That is dedication. To recognize that there's something larger than ourselves, a higher cause than ourselves, and try to hook up with that cause. As long as we have everything within our own sphere, our own causes, our own purposes, we'll remain apart from that, the infinite. We'll remain in the finite plane. As soon as we recognize there's something higher than myself, higher than my knowledge can reach, and I put my faith there, only with faith. You can only approach that higher thing with faith, not by intellect, not by intelligence, not by our knowing power, but beyond our knowing power, our power to know. That also exists. And we can only connect with that through faith. Faith. And by staying in contact with that higher power through the higher devotees who have reached us, who have been fortunate enough by their own good qualities, been able to reach that height, the higher plane. By connection with them, we can try to maintain a connection there also. By a faithful heart, a devoted heart. By our surrender. Truth is not something you have to make up. It's already there. You don't have to develop it. You just have to surrender to it, submit to it. All you need to get to the truth. Hare Krishna. Okay? Any other questions?
Yeah. You were telling about that is we should see that we will evolve the consciousness so that we can have a higher consciousness. We can start contacting the transcendental devotees or the other gurus. So what is the process of evolving our consciousness to that
What is?
level?
What is the process of raising our consciousness to the higher level?
Shravanam.
Sharanam.
Shravanam.
Surrender.
No, Shravanam.
Ravana.
Shravanam means hearing.
Shravanam.
Hearing.
Shravan, hearing.
Yeah, listening.
Listening. Hearing. Find Guru and hear from them. Try to hear. Prabhupada used to tell us during the time of Saraswati Thakur, his Gurudev was Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur. During the time of Saraswati Thakur, many devotees came because they were attracted to what Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada was teaching. And of course, those who become devotees, he was trying to establish an organization, the Gaudiya Math. Many devotees came to him. And there were many activities that the devotees engaged in the temple and going on parikram, doing different things like that. Anyhow, that day, there was one day that all the devotees were going on parikram. And so all the devotees who wanted to go and visit the holy places, they thought this would be good for our spiritual life. Anyhow, Prabhupada did not want to go on parikram. He wanted to sit and listen to what his spiritual master was saying that day, because Bhaktisiddhanta was giving some talk. And so he didn't go on the parikram. He said, I sat and I listened. And Saraswati noted that. Said, this boy is very nice. He wants to hear. He doesn't go away. He wants to simply hear. Prabhupada said, this was my qualification. This is how I became inspired to teach all over the world, how I learned Krishna consciousness, simply by hearing. So he used to encourage us also. When the spiritual master is speaking, try to hear what he is saying. Try to let that enter your heart. In this way, your consciousness will increase, will improve. Come to the proper place, proper conception, Prabhupada. Sridhar Maharaj used to call it. The proper conception. Everybody has some conception. That conception of things is called consciousness. Our conception of things means our consciousness of things. Everybody has some conception. Everybody has some consciousness. But when that conception becomes perfect, then our consciousness becomes perfect. And that is through hearing from the perfect person with already perfected consciousness. That is Gurudev. So it's very important that we engage in that process. That is the essential thing in our life. Is it okay?
Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prabhupada.
Sharanagati is also important. When there's Shravanam, when there's hearing, and if we accept that what was being said, if we confirm that Gurudev says within our own heart, yes, this is the thing, this is the true thing, that's surrender. When Krishna says, surrender unto me, he says in the Gita, Sarvadharma parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Surrender to me, he tells. When you listen, when you hear that, and you tell other people, Krishna said, surrender to him, then you are surrendered to Krishna. Now, some people read the Gita, Krishna says, surrender to me, and they say, oh, he doesn't mean surrender to him. He means this or that or the other thing. That is not surrender. And many people are doing that. They read the Gita and they try to give their own interpretation. Prabhupada did not like that at all. He said, this is nonsense. They're very strong about that. Therefore, he said, Bhagavad Gita as it is, not as you want it. Bhagavad Gita as it is, what Krishna says, we accept that. That is surrender. Because so many people have written interpretations of Gita, so many are out there. He was very angry at them. And Bhagavad Gita as they think it is. And like that's the normal thing. That is all nonsense, he said. We accept Bhagavad Gita as Krishna told. That's surrender. One devotee asked Prabhupada one time, how do we surrender to Krishna? And he told like that. He said, Krishna says surrender to me. If you go out and preach, Krishna says surrender to him. That is surrender.
So, Swamiji, tell me one thing. When someone is crying, is it a sign of weakness or is it a that you are weak or negative or something? Is crying is bad or good?
Crying, is it bad or good? Does it mean you're weak or something else?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to cry when he was thinking of Krishna. And he would rub his face against the walls. Bleeding would come out from his face. And this is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he used to say, I'm only showing these symptoms because I'm a fake. I'm a hypocrite. Make people think that I'm a devotee, but I don't really feel those deep things. He used to say like that. When you see all these symptoms coming from me, it's only to show other people that I'm a devotee, but I'm not a real devotee. If I were a real devotee, I wouldn't be able to live another moment because I am without my Lord. That would be a devotee. But I am only putting on a show. If one thinks like that, then his crying is meaningful. But if one thinks I'm a great devotee, therefore I'm crying, that's nonsense. That's how we interpret. That was Mahaprabhu's lesson to us. A devotee at the highest stage doesn't think he's himself a devotee. To be a devotee is something very special. And the more we understand what is a devotee, the more we understand we're not a devotee. If we have no real idea, maybe some sentimental idea, we might think, oh, I'm a great devotee. That's not a devotee. Devotee never thinks themselves great devotee. They always feel themselves the most fallen. Because to be a devotee is such a high thing, such a perfect thing. To reach that perfection, be completely surrendered to Krishna, is beyond anything any ordinary person, any person can imagine. Srila Srila used to teach, said, the infinite, if you think you have reached the infinite, then you haven't reached it. To think you have a part of the infinite, a piece of the infinite, and reached it, then you haven't reached it. To think you haven't reached it is to reach it. You think I can't reach the infinite? Yes, that's the infinite. You have some conception of the infinite. As soon as you think I can reach the infinite, you have no conception of the infinite. Anyhow, that's what Mahaprabhu taught us. That showing symptoms of crying and all these things, they may be sincere. It may be sincere. Devotees do exhibit those symptoms. But at the same time, the devotee thinks, oh no, I don't really love Krishna. That's safe. That is a better position. And to think, oh, I have some devotion. Look at this. I'm crying. Understand? Devotee.
Yes, Swami. Yes, Swami. Thank you so much.
Little Spanish, Maharaj.
Okay.
Thank you, Maharaj. De Bhakti Didi hizo una pregunta acerca de cuál es uno de los aspectos esenciales, lo más importante en el camino de Bhakti Yoga, en el servicio devocional. Maharaj dijo que uno de los aspectos más importantes es varana, es escuchar al Guru y poner en práctica las enseñanzas que dice el Guru. También el Maharaja citó un pasaje del Srimad Bhagavad Gita donde Krishna dice, entre otras cosas, dice que ven, ríndete a mí y sígueme, y también que lo escuche. También hay otros versos donde se dice, acércate a un gurú genuino, hazle preguntas de un sumiso, escúchale y sírvele. Escuchar es muy importante, porque escuchar Svaranam te lleva a otro aspecto del camino devocional, que es surrender, como dice la rendición, surrender. Entonces, la rendición, surrender, está muy conectado con el escuchar. De hecho, el escuchar es uno de los pasos de los 9 procesos del Bhakti Yoga. Smarana, recordar, cantar, son los 9 procesos del Bhakti Yoga. Pero de todos esos 9 procesos, el escuchar es muy importante. Y la doctora Jayanti Didi preguntó acerca de llorar, acerca de los devotos cuando lloran, si es bueno o malo. Maharaj dijo que esas son cosas muy personales, no se sabe. Por ejemplo, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lloraba porque sentía separación por Krishna, pero ese es Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Otras personas es muy difícil saber, eso está en el corazón de cada persona especial. No sabemos qué hay en el corazón de las personas, no sabemos. Pero en general el Maharaj dijo que si a una persona está llorando, ¡ay, Krishna! A veces es un show, es hipocresía, es falso. Pero otros devotos pueden llorar con sinceridad. Entonces nosotros no sabemos quién es sincero o quién no. Y al final el Maharaj dijo que lo más importante de todo eso en realidad es la rendición. En inglés es lo que dice surrender, la rendición. Es lo más importante. Más o menos ese en general lo que el Maharaj explicó. Jai Maharaj.
Ananda Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Srila Bhakti. Madhava Puri Maharaj ki jai. Al devoto ki jai.
Devahuti ji, anything else?
That's it, Maharaj. In fact, it was such a nice things which I heard from Prabhupada and your
Okay.
Prabhupada's memory.
Jai.
I've taken so much of your time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I have one question. Who is the greatest scientist in the world?
Prabhupada.
Oh, that is
There,
sweet.
You talk.
there was
True.
one past time between Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Basically, it's very quick. Just they were walking. Sripad Puri Maharaj was walking behind Srila Prabhupada, and he said, "Srila Prabhupada, I think that you're the greatest scientist in the world." And then Srila Prabhupada turned around with this huge smile on his face and said, "Yes, I think so." And it was very, but it was very like a very nice. Can I show that one video?
El Maharaj Devahuti preguntó al Maharaj ¿cuál es el científico más importante del mundo? El Maharaj dijo Srila Prabhupada, pero que Chava Prabhu dice bueno sí, pero en realidad Srila Madhava Puri Maharaj es un científico importante, y de hecho Prabhupada hablaba con Srila Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj y le decía, tú eres un científico, tú tienes que predicar acerca de la conciencia de Krishna, y lo más importante, la vida proviene de la vida. Life from life. La vida viene de la vida. Y Srila Prabhupada le dijo a Srila Bhaktivedanta Puri Maharaj que su prédica se debía de centrar en ese punto. Ese punto es muy importante, la prédica del Maharaj. En la vida proviene de la vida. Incluso hay un libro que Srila Prabhupada hizo el prólogo y todo, que habla de este punto. Jai Maharaj.
My humble dandavats. Now we'll stop. My humble dandavats to you. Jai Srila Prabhupada.
Jai.
Jai.
And please have a good week next week. Be healthy. Be happy. Be Krishna conscious. Humble Dandavat. Jai Gurudev.
Jai.
Jai Gurudev. Jai.
Dandavad.
Dandava
Dandava
Pranam.